Hey guys, it's just me, Lance, again. So Peter Matook is a crowdfunding scammer, and this might be the next lawyer that we get disbarred for wrongdoing. I want to ask you guys for your help. I know you guys have been really good at getting fraudulent GoFundMes taken down, and you'll see that a lot of these crowdfunding lawyers have moved to the smaller crowdfunding sites. So Peter Matook is crowdfunding from My Cause. I'll post up the link, and I'll ask you guys to go across and report that My Cause account for fraud. Okay, that's the first thing you can do. But don't worry. So Lucky Lance is not the only person disgusted with his despicable behaviour. So a lot of people behind the scenes as well are making reports to, Consumer Affairs and Legal Services Board and all that sort of stuff. So I suspect he could be the next lawyer to be disbarred for wrongdoing. Now, what's really funny is, guess who the lawyer is that he's working with? Recently disbarred and disgraced lawyer Serene Teffaha. So of all the thousands of lawyers across the country, the only lawyer that he can find to work with is the disgraced, disbarred lawyer, Serene Teffaha. A known scammer, a known liar. I think this will be her fourth proposed class action now. Still nothing in court. She's failed everything she's ever attempted in her career. And she's now been disbarred for wrongdoing. And that's the lawyer that Peter Matook is working with and endorses. I mean, that's got to be the biggest alarm bell I've ever heard of. I mean, Serene, I just was in court with her recently. She got an IVO on me, an interim IVO. And I beat that in court, as well as, I don't know if I told you guys this, she also made a police statement that I was stalking her. So I was under investigation for stalking. She said I was going through her bins and going through her letterbox, right? It was an absolute lie, and she knows that's a lie. She's lied to the police to try to help her interim intervention order be successful. Anyway, the police investigated that, and that was dropped. So I was never charged. But I'll tell you what, it was a little bit embarrassing being investigated by VicPol, my friends. It was a bit embarrassing being investigated for stalking, but luckily the courts got it right. The police got it right, like they usually do. Most of the time they do. And the system is not as corrupt as what online influencers are trying to tell you. Does corruption exist? Of course it does. Anywhere in society, anywhere around the world, there's always the element of corruption. But the courts get it right the vast majority of the times. There's 10,000 cases a day that go through the courts, and they get it right 99% of the time. And when they don't, that's why we have the appeals court. So anyway, the court's got it right on that occasion. But the point I'm trying to make is that a disbarred, dodgy lawyer who's up to her fourth proposed class action, still nothing in court, who made false allegations, lied to police about Lucky Lance, and it wasn't the first police station she'd went to, right? She was cop shopping, going around to different cops until she found one that had a bit of sympathy for her, and lodged the interim IVO, which I beat in court. And that's the type of person that Peter Matook is working with. But let's have a look into Peter Matook's past. Okay, so he was charged with staging a robbery, right? He was charged with staging a robbery where he was assaulted, bound and gagged, and they stole his car, burned his car or something. So it's, pretty sensational story, actually. And so he was charged for, setting that up himself and making a false police report. He was cleared. He was cleared in court on that. So that means one of two things. Okay, so either he really did do it, but there was not enough proof, so he was, found not guilty. Pretty bad behaviour, right? The alternative to that is he really was the victim of this, he really was a victim of a kidnapping and assault and extortion and whatnot, and robbery. And if he really was, you got to ask yourself, what sort of a lawyer has people come into his office, tie him up, rob him, and assault him, right? It wasn't a random attack. It was a targeted attack, right? He claims he had all this expensive artwork that was stolen. I wonder if he got the insurance for that. I wonder. Does anyone know? Let me know. So if it was true, his story that he told police that he was kidnapped and robbed and assaulted, what sort of a lawyer goes through something like that? I'll tell you what sort of a lawyer. A really bad lawyer that done something really bad to some really bad people, and then they came to his office and did something really bad to him. So if his story is true, right, he must have done something fucking really bad for that to have happened to him, which is just, more of an indication into his character, which is what I'm trying to tell you about here in this video. So please, share this video around, because he's raised over $200,000 already for an assortment of alleged class actions. I spoke to him last night. I recorded the call. I'm waiting for my mate to put the call into one of my videos, which should be pretty funny. I'll post it hopefully tonight. So I spoke to him last night. He reckons he's going to be in the High Court of Australia in 2 weeks, I think he said. So he's got nothing lodged in court, but he reckons he'll be in the High Court. challenging the government on all these different mandates in 2 weeks. Ridiculous. A TikTok lawyer. I mean, the fact that people actually donate money to him, these idiots actually donate money to him, and they've seen him on TikTok, of all places. It's absolutely laughable. So, but anyway, I'm not the only person absolutely disgusted in his behaviour. So I know a lot of other people behind the scenes making reports to different authorities, and hopefully he'll be the next lawyer to be disbarred for wrongdoing, just like Serene. But I'll show you what I've discovered so far. This is first of many videos. Well, it might be second. Anyway, Peter Mctuck, I know you're watching. I know you'll see this. I look forward to your cease and desist email. I'll get them all the time. Love it. Good luck with that. So Peter Mctuck. Peter Mctuck is making false statements about the law to solicit donations. Peter Mctuck is making false statements about the law to solicit donations. One of his better ones is that he's making statements like that the government are forcing kids into having the jab without parents' consent. Peter Mctuck is making statements that the government are forcing kids to have the jab without parents' consent. That is a lie. That is an absolute lie. That is false. Absolutely false. But what does that do when he says that stuff? Gets people emotional and they feel helpless. They feel passionate. And then what do? They donate. That's how you get donations. It's fear-mongering. Peter Mctuck, all these other lawyers that you see on social media, all the social media influencers, crowdfunding for legal fees, it's all fear-mongering. They're all fear-mongering. And then people get fearful and they hand over their money. It's disgusting behaviour, which is why I've dedicated my life to fighting these crowdfunding scammers online. So, and I suspect he knows that's a lie, or unless he's just completely stupid. But I reckon that's about enough for this first video, Peter Mctuck. I hope you love it. Look forward to your emails to cease and desist. While I've got you guys, can you guys look into John Larter, another GoFundMe lawyer? I'm not ready to call this guy a scammer yet because he's actually the lead plaintiff himself. So unlike most of these crowdfunding lawyers, they're always looking for a lead plaintiff willing to go bankrupt because they know they're going to lose. But he sort of put his money where his mouth is. He's actually the lead applicant himself. So maybe he has faith in his, proposed class action. I don't know. Or I don't know how much he's done, how much he's gained off from GoFundMe. The thing is, he's the lead plaintiff. He's doing it himself. Why does he even need all this money for a GoFundMe? Doesn't make any sense. So I'm not, I just said I'm not willing to call him a scammer yet. But I don't know. I spoke too soon. So he's the lead plaintiff. If he believes in his case and he believes he's going to win, well, why does he need all this money from GoFundMe? He's the lawyer. He can do it himself. So what is he paying himself a wage from the GoFundMe like Peter Mctuck and all these other lawyers? Are crowdfunding for their own legal fees to pay themselves these fucking lowlifes. So anyway, dig into that, guys. His proposed class action, I think I've shared it. It's in regards to mandatory vax for healthcare workers or something like that. Look into it because I smell a rat. But like I said, it might be the most legitimate one that we have seen online. Time will tell. Also, David Shills. I just seen a disappointing video from David Shills. I've gone lightly on him because I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. He does seem like a nice guy. And, he's trying his best. Also go lightly on him because he's friends with Jackie Dundee. And you all know I've got a soft spot for her. I do like her. And, all the cases will lose, but I think she means well. She does mean well. And they're friends, so I don't go too hard on him. But I just watched his latest video where, he knows he's going to lose his case. He knows he's going to lose his case. And he just admitted that if they do lose, he's going to tie up the court with appeals. Right? So he's already wasting court time bringing this to court in the first place, which is guaranteed to lose. And then when he loses, he's planning on tying up the court with appeals. So you see why I have to withdraw what little support that I had for David Shills. Because, the courts are busy enough. Like I just said, 10,000 cases a day. Right? So and now they're getting inundated with all these fucking Facebook idiots. One of my friends actually spoke to the Supreme Court the other day to get some information on one of the scams. I think it was AFL we're looking into, AFL solicitors. And she asked some questions about it. And the woman on the phone was like, oh, not another bloody crowdfunding lawyer, are they? So, the courts are getting pretty annoyed at these people, wasting court time, which is what David Shills is proposing to do. He's proposing to tie up court resources and time with frivolous appeals. So it's not really good behaviour on his behalf. Now, I made the mistake. I spoke to him once. And I made the mistake. I made a comment to him and he took it to fucking heart, maniac. I was like, he was telling me about his court case and all this merit. He's done his, I'll give him that. He's done his homework. He seems to have read a lot of stuff and seems to be able to recite all this law crap, which no doubt he's misinterpreted, which most people do, even most lawyers do, which is why I never attempt to interpret the law, because it's highly complex. It's hundreds of laws intertwined with each other, and us lay people will never understand it. That's what I understand about the law, that it's too complex for me to understand. So anyway, I told him, I was like, mate, even if your case had merit, you're not going to lose. Hey, you're not going to win. How are you going to lose? How are you going to win against the government's lawyers? Mate, they'll just move the goalposts. You can't win. Even I said to him, this is where I went wrong. I said, even if your case had merit, you're still going to lose because the government's lawyers are going to smash her. You know, they'll move the goalpost. And he's like, oh, I knew it. And he just took that as, it confirms it. In his mind now, the courts are completely corrupt. So when he loses, he'll think it's because of corruption. No, David Shills, what I meant was, you know, the law's open to interpretation, right? So there's a way you interpret it in court. The government's lawyers, you know, QCs, experts, and these QCs, they're like fucking geniuses, yeah? I was listening to a QC once talking about a brief, and one lawyer said to him, yeah, but on in this, you know, in volume fucking 187, page 1238, it says this. And then the QC's like, yeah, but volume 77,000 or whatever, page 1378, volume 4, it says this. You know, like, so these QCs can memorize a brief, you know, thousands and tens of thousands of pages long. They can memorize the whole thing. That's how smart these QCs are. And that's who works for the government. That's who they employ. So what I was saying is, David Shills, you're not going to be able to outsmart these people, right? And when I say that they'll, you know, even if you have merit, you'll lose. Because, yeah, even if it had legal merit, their legal defense will have even more merit. That's what I meant. Not that they'll be dodgy. I meant that even if your claim had some legal merit, the government's QCs, these geniuses that I just described here, and they're geniuses, I love them, they're great. Anyway, then their legal argument will have more merit than your legal argument. That's what I'm saying. You know, the law's open to interpretation. That's why lawyers get paid so much to sit in court arguing the law all day long. Because that's where, you know, that's who's meant to do it. Lawyers. Leave the legal arguments to lawyers. You know, so to stop listening to online influencers like David Shills and Nick Patterson. They haven't got the faintest idea what they're talking about. And certainly do not give them any money, right? None of them are going to get up. Anyway, I'm waffling. 12 minutes. All right, I better go. Share this around. And don't forget, please report Peter Matook's My Cause for fraud. And stay tuned. Hopefully, with any luck, he'll be the second lawyer that we've seen disbarred in Victoria for wrongdoing, profiteering, taking advantage of vulnerable people at this time. It's disgusting, despicable behaviour, which is why I've dedicated my life to exposing these frauds. See you guys.